welcome back. This is By the Book, and we are married relationship coaches. I'm Sent.
I'm Sil.
And today we are talking about Married at First Sight, Season 16, Episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about Airris and Jasmine. This man sat up on national TV and said, "Get on your knees." And I'm over him. Like, he was more hard on Airris than me. And I'm going to still present my side for Airris.
Mm-hmm.
But he just boggled the mind with that statement that he felt like was okay for him to say with his boys while cameras was rolling. Y'all let me know how you feel about that statement and how disrespectful or not you think it was for him to say that. Even in joking, it just, So.
It could have meant anything. You know, that could have meant
We'll
pick
get to
up
that.
something off the ground or something.
He playing. So, they started off, this was one of the last two couples to get married. They started off with the wedding, and I didn't know, I don't know if you did or not, I didn't really see her as being super tall. So I'm trying to understand if Airris is short, because he didn't strike me necessarily as being real short either. But, you know, they showed a lot of clips with her. I saw her doing her flips and her with the kids in the gym, and she didn't seem to be like an Amazon, you know, and stuff. And I mean, obviously everybody is taller than Dr. Pepper, but when she was with Pastor Cal, I just don't remember her being so tall. So seeing her walk down, and I know she didn't have on 12-inch heels, so seeing her walk down the aisle, and then his first comment to her is, "You're tall."
Yeah.
Not, "You are beautiful." Although we saw, like, I think in a separate clip that he was applauding as she was walking down the aisle. So that was nice to see that it wasn't just, oh, she's really tall, but that he appreciated her beauty, you know, as well. Because I was like, dang, that's all you saw was that she was tall. And it comes off in that moment, like you said, he's pretty intimidated by the fact that she's as tall as she is, even so much so as to be taller than him, at least with her heels on.
Yeah, you can see it all over his face, and that was his first comment, but it's edited. There could be some more in there. But to me, when I first saw it, I'm just like, yeah, he's intimidated. He just, his face, his body language to me was just like, wow, you know, maybe I'm not used to dating a woman that's taller than me. And so it just seemed, he seemed a little bit put off by that. So.
Yeah, I think he was. I think that's possible. I think, you know, certain things are just a challenge for men, you know, just right up front and in their face. Women who earn a lot more, or women who are taller, you know, it's just one of those things it's not supposed to be. It's not the natural order of things, and so they get uncomfortable. And I definitely think that he was a little bit. Now, he seems like the type of person with plenty of ego to where he's definitely not going to let it show that affects him. So I'm actually surprised that he even said it and didn't just look at her and then think it and not say anything at all.
Yeah.
But he definitely felt the need to comment on that, and that was the first comment we heard. I think the wedding went fine. The ceremony went fine. I know you commented on the length of his vows.
Yeah, he had like 3 lines.
With it.
The man had like 3 lines, you know. I promise not to interrupt you when you talk or something. It was just like,
he was going to share his food.
Yeah.
It was more than 3. It wasn't that bad. This is why we didn't do write our own vows at our wedding. Because nobody was about to sit up in judgment of me for how long or short mine was.
It does, okay. It doesn't necessarily have to be very long, but if it's not going to be long, what you say has to be, you know, gripping. It has to be pretty powerful. And
how gripping can it be when you don't even know your spouse?
I mean, but still, I'm vowing to be faithful to you. I'm vowing, something. I won't tease you when you chew with your mouth open. You know, it's just like, come on, man. I don't know. He could have done a little bit better than that. And you know what the other part was? He pulled it out of his pocket Like he had a lot to say. Man, you could have memorized that.
Oh
them
my
2 lines.
goodness. It was not 2 lines. All right, we're going to move on off these vows. I didn't think that they were that bad. I didn't even think it was anything remarkable about it at all.
See, unremarkable. Your vows.
But hers aren't either. I remember more of his vows than hers.
Because he only said 3 things. Hers was a little bit more endearing.
Okay, so they sat at the reception table after the wedding, and we were trying to interpret Airris's demeanor toward Jasmine. Jasmine seemed to be comfortable. She was engaging with him a lot. You know, she was looking in his direction. And for a lot of the time, it looked like he was kind of looking straight ahead. Not the whole time. He did give her some eye contact. But a lot of the time, he had this more straight ahead type look.
Yeah.
I would love to hear you guys' interpretation of what was going on. I am very much one to try to give the benefit of the doubt, especially early on. So I will give my take on this, although I have to admit that I'm jaded by what I heard from him later. So, you felt like he wasn't feeling her,
He
right?
wasn't engaged. Yeah.
Okay.
Because he's looking away from her most of the time. He'll look at her for a little bit, and then he'll start to look right back forward. All the while, she's facing him. And so she, to me, her body language was, I'm open, engage with me. His was, I'm listening to you, but I'm not giving you all of my attention. I'm not really showing you that I'm in this thing and I'm open and engaging with you.
Okay.
To me.
I think he's awkward. I think he's socially awkward. And I think eye contact is one of those things that makes him a little bit uncomfortable. That's my read on him. I think that he has an air of confidence in certain arenas, but I think deep down he's an awkward guy. And he can't help it. And I think also sometimes it's difficult, and I find myself to be like this too, and believe it or not, I'm awkward as well. But I can be socially awkward for sure. But if somebody is sitting this close to me, and my husband will tell you, we don't sit this close and have face-to-face conversations because I'm awkward. So if I'm gonna look at him, I'm gonna back up and talk to him like this because I need some space so we can have like the right type of eye contact for me that makes me comfortable. And I honestly feel like that was part of what was going on with him. The second part of what I think was going on with him was in his mind, it's like 13 dogs running around the place because right after they had their ceremony, that's when she talked to him about how many dogs she had. That's too many. I wouldn't want to be bothered. Honestly, I'm meeting somebody, I'm marrying them at first sight, and then I have to take in 4 dogs that you have just as pets, sort of, that you're breeding.
Yeah.
Plus whatever litter of puppies that they got going on at the time.
Yeah.
No. I mean, that would have been an instant turn off for me. So he might have been zoned out like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I don't want to take on, and she asked him, do you like dogs? And he's like, yeah, they are, right? Like, taking care of one dog, believe you me, we have one dog. He's enough. He's kind of a big guy. And yeah, he's enough.
Yeah.
4, if we had 4 Ilos, I honestly would lose it.
You would lose it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's a bit.
Just the poop and the food alone is just.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit much, to have 4 dogs. That's a lot to expect of someone coming into your life that they're going to be able to tolerate, 4 dogs. And not everyone is a dog or pet person. Some people are just like, blah, I'm okay with it as long as it's within some type of perspective. 4 dogs, that's something different.
You need a whole stable out back to keep them dogs in it.
Yeah.
Like, no, are they in her house? What does her house look like? Does she have caregivers? And I mean this in all seriousness. Dog walker, like who has the dogs right now?
Yeah.
Who wants to take on 4 dogs? Did you have to give them to 4 different friends plus the puppies? But it just doesn't seem practical.
No.
not for a relationship. And what are you gonna do if y'all have kids? It's no bueno.
That's problematic for dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
So yeah, I mean, but other than that, I definitely felt like she was into him. She talked to his family for a little bit. When she talked to her friends, even, she definitely let them know that she thought that he was a 9.5 out of 10.
She gave him some high marks.
She did. Now, I think she was talking about at that point his physical appearance. I don't know if she was like really delving deep into like what she learned about him, what his personality seemed to be, because I think she was so like into the situation, into the marriage, into the ceremony, that she may not have even picked up on the fact that he wasn't looking at her.
Yeah.
Because that was not even a factor for her when she was talking about him.
Yeah. And then he's a hard guy to kind of read because he doesn't show a lot of personality. And he definitely has that kind of like that introvert like type thing. And like I was saying a few weeks ago, how well is this communication going to be in this relationship? Because it doesn't sound like from in the past, he's had too much practice at learning how to be an effective communicator.
You know what? And I really want to see that, because his first question, or one of his first questions to her friend group, was about her communication. He asked if she could communicate well. And everybody kind of like froze like a deer in the headlights. So it seems that she is not an effective communicator. Now, he said in response to that he used to be bad at communicating or worse at communicating, and he's gotten better. So I wonder if it will be him who's the stronger communicator actually than she is.
It could be, but I've gotten better could mean I was at a 0. Now I'm at a 1.5.
It could.
And so it still doesn't put him in a passing, grade.
No, and this is his own self-grade. So, I mean, you have to take that with a grain of salt for sure. But I'm just saying, obviously, there's third parties involved who will acknowledge that Jasmine is not a good communicator.
True.
So I'm curious what that leads to. Is it a big bump in the heads? And they also said that she's very non-confrontational. Yeah. So will that lead to a lack of communication that ultimately blows up? Because that can be problematic as well.
It can be. But here you are, or here they are. They're just meeting one another, and I'm sure they got their representatives fully engaged. And how much do you really want to stir this pot up with someone who you just met and you just married? And when does the real you show up and begin to, kind of like do the work and start saying, hey, I don't like this, but I do like that. And we can make it if I see certain things from you.
Yeah. Well, not on the reception.
No.
We'll see. Probably sometime after the honeymoon.
Yeah.
And they'll sort through that. So my least favorite part of this whole thing is Airris getting with his friends. Now, I think we had already seen the scene of Jasmine talking with her friends about possibly giving up the goods on the honeymoon, and they're laughing at her because they're like, that's like 2 days away. Yeah. So she's very physically drawn to him, and I think that might make her make a mistake in terms of how fast intimacy happens between the two of them. But, these married at first sight people, they think they grown and they're going to do what they're going to do. So... But, when it comes back to the guys and Airris, they ask a question like, first of all, they ask where she ranks on a scale from 1 to 10 by comparison to Beyonce being a 10. And he gives her an 8. Now, I shrugged this off.
Yeah.
My husband, the hopeless romantic over here.
I am not a hopeless romantic.
He is. He agrees with the guys to say that is the wrong answer.
It is.
Your wife is a 10. And I don't think that's fair. There's always going to be somebody who's more attractive physically. They didn't ask globally, like given her personality and her this and her that. They asked physically. Compared to Beyonce, on a scale from 1 to 10, where does she fall? And he gave an honest answer. I'm okay with it.
Well,
To be honest, if I'm an 8 compared to Beyonce, I think I'm doing pretty good.
I get what you're saying. But to the husband, specifically, I'm not going to talk about it even from the other side of the wife, but from the husband's standpoint, there is no other 10 in the world. If your wife is not a 10, your wife is that 10.
Why is she a 10?
Because that is your wife.
No, but
she is.
What makes her the 10?
Her beauty, her personality.
See, stop, because we was only talking about physical. And I knew you were going to do that, and that's the thing. We're not talking about, they're talking about one very narrow point, which is how she looked. That's why they said compared to Beyonce. He don't even know what her personality is. He just met her.
Yeah.
On a scale from 1 to 10, on attractiveness, Beyonce being a 10, where does she fall? And I think it's okay for her not to be a 10. That is me personally.
It's okay for her to be a 10, not a 10 right now because they just met.
Okay.
And so I think it's a little bit. It's gonna take a little bit for them to get to know her and be like. Because after a while, it's gonna be hard to separate your wife into all of those different type of categories. So it's just going to be like, okay, how do you rate your wife? And all of it is going to come to your mind.
Okay, but that'll be a different question at that point. And it'll be more fair, your point of view in terms of her having to be a 10, that would be more fair to me. But at this point, where they're just talking about the physical and they have used Beyonce as a barometer, like, I'm okay with what he said. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I hope she's not offended when she sees it on TV.
It's training. It's it's all he's never really been in a serious relationship, and so it's all training for him. And so I thought that was really good for his friends to step in and be like, "This is how you got to start, kind of like thinking of things. This is your wife. This is no one else's wife. She is your wife. You are her husband, and this is the way you need to start, kind of like framing your thought process." And I thought that was right on. There's no woman more beautiful than my wife. My wife is a 10 plus, and you best to believe that. You can take that to the bank.
All right, so let's talk about his other answer. The guys ask him, what's gonna happen tonight? Like, if it was just your ideal, I am paraphrasing, y'all. Like, if it was just his perfect night, his ideal night, what's going to happen? And it's silent for a second. And one of his friends chimes in and says, like, oh, it's going to be nasty or something.
Yeah.
And Airris took this opportunity to say, get on your knees. And I couldn't do anything but, like, facepalm, because I'm like, oh, my gosh, this is on TV. Not only for her to see, but her parents will watch this. Like, and
her dad's a preacher.
Oh my gosh, yes. It's really disrespectful, and I'm blown away. I was really disappointed in him. I was really trying to roll with him, and I think he got caught up in one of those moments of just being a regular dude from the hood or something. And that just sounds like a hood dude thing to say. And I'm why? I wish he hadn't said that. Was a regrettable thing for him to say.
Well, if my lawyer wife can't defend him, now I don't think I can either. But I will say this: who's to say he meant something sexual or whatever?
Are you
it doesn't
waiting
necessarily have to mean that
for our woman audience to crucify you? Is this what you want?
It doesn't mean that. It could have been a whole host of other things.
Okay, y'all, that's what he wants. So go ahead and give it to him.
But hey, to be honest with you though, I think he got caught up, just like what you just said.
Yeah.
I think he probably forgot that the cameras were there, or he's just chopping it up with his voice. He got too comfortable. And so he's not thinking of Jasmine again,
as
they
his
just
wife.
They just met each other. They have no emotional connection at all. And so at this particular point, yes, they both have rings and they just got married, but she's a stranger. He doesn't know this woman.
Yeah.
And so there's no connection. So for him, it's just a physical connection. So what is he gonna say as a guy? Unfortunately, one of the most crass things that you could ever think of on national TV.
And that's the thing with us looking at it. I know I play sports all the time. I know a lot of guys. I know how they talk. I get it. I know that that's probably what many, many men would say. But for us to see it as an audience and to watch him on TV say that is automatically pulling our opinion of him down, because not only does it look bad in terms of Jasmine, but it looks like this is like how he views women. So I hope when he gets back on the after party that he apologizes or something, because it read horribly for me.
It did. I shouldn't have said it. You know, you definitely should. You got caught. You got, as they say, mic'd up. You got caught mic'd up, man.
Yeah.
And he probably should make an apology, at least to her personally.
Yeah. And her dad. Good grief.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, with respect to those two, I'm still hopeful. You know, I mean, if she can get past it, so can I. So I'm hopeful that they make it. Nothing has happened yet that looks too terrible. Even a little preview that they showed us where they're having a little spat, it looks like something that probably can be worked through. So let us know your thoughts on them as a couple. I think they may be all right.
You know, I'm still reserving my judgment.
Do you think, this is my last question for my husband, do you think he's not, because he gave her an 8 out of 10, do you think he's really actually not physically attracted to her?
Again, he's very hard to read. He definitely wasn't giving vibes of him being very attracted to her. Okay. You know, but he could just be trying to play it cool. You know, he's kind of like got that cool type vibe going on. He's just, you know, I don't want to put all my cards out on the table, you know, type thing.
Yeah.
And again, he just met her, so I understand that. But my thing is, right now, his communication level, is he going to be able to share? And sort of, kind of, even though, again, they just met, is he not just viewing her as kind of like something to please him sexually?
Yeah.
You know, and so is she a real person to him? And can she grow?
Like, is he still in that mindset?
Yeah.
Of being for the streets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be physically attracted to her. Hers was one of my favorite dresses of the brides this season. I thought she looked good in it. I think she has a nice shape. It's a slender shape, but I wouldn't think that would be a problem unless he bigger, curvier girls. I mean, I don't know what weight he puts into a person's smile or whatever. I know she may have a little bit of a challenge with that, but that's something that's easily correctable. So I will hope that wouldn't even be a hurdle for him. I think just baseline, she's a very attractive girl. So I'm hoping that. Why are you laughing at me?
No reason. I'm good. I'm not gonna say anything. And so I think she's a very attractive girl. I think they make a really attractive couple. Is he okay with her being a little bit taller than him, same height or whatever? He could be, like you said, used to someone very curvy, or he could be used to someone even smaller, than her. But physical wise, she doesn't seem like she had an issue. So gonna have to see how this whole
I'm
thing
hopeful for them
plays.
too.
You know?
So drop those comments, y'all. Let us know what you think. Like, share, and subscribe. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye.